Hey guys, I'm Callie. I'm here with Jean-Luc, and we got to play Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus, the sequel to Wolfenstein the New Order, and we're really excited about it. So we played 2 sections in the demo. One was from E3, so we'll start with that one. It was a wheelchair, like opening wheelchair sequence in a U-boat. I really liked it. What did you think?
Yeah, it's like the beginning of the game. BJ's crippled and he has to like move in this wheelchair. And
if you're not familiar, BJ is the protagonist from New Order.
Right,
well.
yeah. It's a direct continuation of the previous game. And it's really fun to, well, at first it feels like it wouldn't be fun because you're moving this wheelchair and it intentionally kind of restricts parts of your movement. It feels a little bit janky in the way like it moves and you have to like build up speed to get over like the little like
well, there's like
ramps,
you know, yeah, there's kind of a bump over the door, right?
Exactly.
If you think about a submarine, like that's how the doors are structured. So it's a little awkward. It's weird, and you're like shooting with one hand and wheeling with the other.
They really try and capture the experience of one-handed shooting Nazis on a wheelchair.
Yeah, as one does.
As one does.
So yeah, but the cool thing about that is it feels really awkward to play. It's janky, but in a good way.
It's fun.
It doesn't feel like broken, right? It doesn't feel like, oh, this isn't how this is supposed to move. It intentionally breaks down the kind of movement you would expect from a game like this, right. Which I really liked, and it's such a cool introduction to what you're going to be doing. You're like setting traps, and you have to kind of sneak around, but in a way that's not very sneaky. It's so cool. I've replayed it several times now, just because I was just really into kind of mastering going around the U-boat. So it's really interesting. The second section we played was a little different. It was in Area 51.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute.
Which is very Wolfenstein. They're going all the way.
Absolutely. If you're gonna, Wolfenstein's always been like super pulpy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you're gonna really lean into the American like 60s setting with Nazis, like,
you gotta put it in Area 51.
You gotta put it in Area 51. Yeah. The Nazis have taken over Area 51. That's so perfect.
It's so good.
I love that.
So basically, the actual level with the shooting and the fighting occurs kind of underground. Starts off on this train. You gotta get this train started to go to a location to plant a nuke to kill the commandant.
Yeah.
So there's a whole process, but it was actually super challenging. And we do want to point out that in our build, the build in our UK office, our AU office, and a couple people in our session that don't work for GameSpot that we talked to, all had balance issues with this section. It seems like it's just a work in progress still. So, you know, we were getting like one hit KO'd by, you know, regular guys, not even like mech dudes. So it was clearly like not finished, and that was a challenge in and of itself. But there actually is difficulty there that's not from the imbalancing issues. It was, you know, you're kind of scrounging for weapons. There's a lot of enemies at once you have to deal with. You can kind of be stealthy. You can take multiple routes through this train to get to the front. And so there's a lot going on. It was actually really cool. Despite those problems.
If you've played New Order, it's sort of the typical like gameplay formula you expect. Break crates to find health and ammo. You know, you can try and stealth your way through. They have the officers who you need to kill in order to, so that they can't keep resummoning more guards, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Instead of a knife now, you get a hatchet, and you can still throw it though, so you can do like sick hatchet throws, which is really fun.
Yeah, that's a new thing. But they're also, I want to talk a little bit about dual wielding. You played on mouse and keyboard. I played on with an Xbox controller. I found dual wielding to be extremely cumbersome because with the controller you have like 2 wheels you have to manage.
Right. Well, so we should say that dual wielding was in the New Order, but in this one you can dual wield separate weapons.
Right. That's the new thing. Sorry. But the hard thing is if you're in the middle of a firefight, switching weapons, or if you run out of ammo, the pace doesn't suit a controller for me, which is how I played New Order. So I was a little disappointed by that.
Right. It's I think when you're playing on controller, it seems like you might have to set that up before you go into the firefight.
Yeah.
Mid-firefight, if you're trying to like, okay, I want to put a shotgun on my left and I want this hand to have a pistol, it's going to be a bit messy and you're probably going to die. Another thing that was a little, I think you just got to get used to it, is when you're dual wielding, if your left gun runs out of ammo, it automatically just switches that hand to another gun. And in the middle of a firefight, you're not really paying attention to that. So I'm just like dual wielding with shotguns, and then all of a sudden I had like a submachine gun in my other hand, and I was just like, what? was like, why am I not like shooting properly? And I'm like, oh, I suddenly have this gun in my hand.
Yeah,
so that was a bit weird.
You have to adjust mentally, because that can be cool. I mean, that's the new thing, right? You can be like, okay, if I find a heavy, I have this weapon ready in my left hand, and if I find an officer, I have this other, you know, less powerful weapon. You can save ammo that way, but it's just a lot to take on. I do want to move on though to the story, because in this second section that we got to play, you're in Roswell, obviously, and it's just so cool the world building they have here. Obviously, Wolfenstein is an alternate history where the Nazis won, so a lot of things are going to be different, but they stick to, you know, real life, real world institutions. So you can see, you saw this in E3, the, you know, fully clothed KKK members walking around Roswell during this Nazi victory parade. There's cool things like Abbey Road, but with very distinctly Nazi imagery. It's like an alternate version of Abbey Road.
Right, yeah, that kind of stuff was in the first game, and like, they're going forward with that a lot.
Yeah, it feels like they're really just building upon it. It was really rich, and that sequence, like, I think the first time you and I played it, because we got to play a couple different times, we walked around for like 15 minutes just reading stuff.
Oh yeah, there's like a drunk guy in an alleyway yelling about Nazis. There's
a young couple being like, "Ich liebe dich," like
yeah,
saying "I love you" in German.
There's some people like waiting in line for a movie talking about like the latest like weird alternate history Nazi movie. There's this great book that you could like read the description of that's talking about a like alternate like dystopian future where the Allies won. And it's like these freedom fighters have to fight against like the oppressive regime of gay people and Jews.
Yeah,
and, like how it's like this like struggle.
It was yeah, it's a book review.
Like, they do not hold back. They are going for it.
Yeah, it's a book review of somebody describing this like fantastic dystopian novel where the Allies won. There's also like this wasn't in Roswell, but you can find, you know, notes and stuff around the world. Obviously, there was one that was like a newspaper like letter to the editor that was like, "Thank you to the Nazis for liberating us from the moral depravity."
Right, yeah.
So I just appreciate all of that. I really love. It's, you know, it's environmental storytelling in a way, but I like storytelling that's a little bit tucked behind you. You can go in guns blazing, or you can kind of root around and find those things. And I really liked how they were developing that. I do want to talk a little bit about just actual, like the plot continuing straight from New Order and those characters.
Yeah, so it's very much like a direct continuation. I think they said like it takes place only like a couple months after the end.
Yeah, at the very beginning, in that wheelchair section, Set tells BJ like you've been in bed for 5 months, I think.
Yeah,
he's been bedridden and
direct
crippled.
continuation. So yeah, so characters like Set Ross and Anya, like
Frau Engel, obviously, is in it. You've seen her.
Max Hess is in it.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the best character from the New Order. He's back in it. Like all these characters are back in, which having just replayed the New Order like a week before we actually saw this, I had like forgotten how many like characters were in that game. So I feel like if you have not played the if you have not played the New Order,
I mean, absolutely go play it.
Yeah, absolutely go play it. It's an amazing game, but you might be a bit lost in the story. I don't know if they'll have. Hopefully, they'll have like a refresher to maybe get people up to speed. But
if you played it and kind of like when it came out and kind of forgot, I would definitely recommend playing New Order before playing New Colossus.
Yeah. It seems like they're not necessarily as interested in trying to like, it's like a fresh new story that like anyone can jump into. Like I'm sure they want as many people to play as possible, but the story is very much like this is for the people that liked that previous game and want more of that. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think mechanically it's similar. So you know if you liked how that game felt to play, it's the same. It's the same deal.
Yeah. Another interesting note is that they are continuing the alternate branching story paths from the previous game. They're not doing, like, you think about a game like Dishonored 2, where that first game had multiple story endings, and for 2 they just picked one of these story endings and they made that the canonical ending. Right. They're not doing that for this one. They're actually like continuing, letting you play through both the Wyatt and the Ferguson timeline.
And can you explain how you know that?
Oh yeah, because in the 2 demos we played, the 2 levels, there are multiple cutscenes, and you can see one has Ferguson in it, and you can see another one has Wyatt in it. And
so
like
we weren't told that directly, but we kind of extrapolated.
Right. Yeah. And like the first one, like they seem to go really all out with it, where there's lots of like separate cutscenes and dialogue with those 2 characters, so it's not just more superficial. Like they're really leaning into that still, which is great because that had a lot of replay value to that first game, was being able to play those 2 alternate like timelines.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like they're carrying that through. But yeah, overall, we had a lot of fun with it. It was cool, and you know, it's very, like you said, pulpy is such a great way to describe Wolfenstein, and I'm really excited to jump back into that world. If you want to check it out, we have more Wolfenstein gameplay and cutscenes and more on GameSpot and YouTube, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And if you like this video, give us a like. It really helps us out. Thank you so much for watching.